Thank you very much.
It's Kaufman is Alive. I look at comic books new and old. Today I'm looking at a new comic book, Batman number 158 by DC Comics. This is the return of Jim Lee to Batman and just drawing interiors in general. And it's the beginning of the Hush 2 storyline. The return of Hush as well. And I got this awesome foil variant cover. This is of the main cover. Doesn't have the Batman logo, obviously. They do print the main cover on the inside, which is a really cool thing that DC always does on their cardstock variants and foil covers. I really like that. But just a great looking cover here. I love the background, the city in the background here. It's got Jim Lee's name and Williams there for Scott Williams and Loeb for Jeff Loeb. So you got the creators there with their signatures in the graffiti at the bottom. That's really cool. An awesome drawing of Batman here, obviously. The one thing that I can't help but notice and get over is that it just looks like he's paraplegic, like he's got no legs. I know they're like foreshortened in the background because he's like jumping, but maybe show it on the one that's not foil here. But it just, he's got no feet. People always talk about Liefeld not drawing feet, but Jim Lee getting away with not drawing any feet here. Just something I can't unsee once I saw it. So, but this is, like I said, Hush 2, Jeff Loeb's return to Batman, and you got Scott Williams inking Jim Lee. So it's the same team from the original Hush, and they use the same like narration here too. I don't know if they've been using this same like color and style lettering font for the narration that they used in the original Batman Hush, if they've been using that in the current Batman, because I haven't been reading the current Batman. I just picked up this issue for the return of Jim Lee, so. And, you know, Jim Lee, he's not my favorite artist. He's definitely one of the most skilled comic book artists that there's ever been. He's got a really high-tech style of artwork, and Scott Williams has always been a consistent inker, inking Jim Lee's stuff. So we've got Alex Sinclair doing the colors, Richard Starkings doing the letters here, James Reed is assistant editor, Jessica Barabee is the associate editor, and Rob Levin does the edits. So this chapter 1 is called The Pawn, and I kind of assume that's referring to Joker here, who Batman is tangling with here at the beginning. And as he says here at the beginning, it's he says it seems like yesterday, which that might be the creators also talking about how when they created Hush 2, it just seems like yesterday. And here they are back again, or when they created Hush, and now here they are creating Hush 2. And but Batman says, calls him the Joker. I stopped him then, I will stop him now. So pretty typical Batman start here. But Joker's pulling a scheme that he's pulled before, and Batman's wondering why he's repeating the same old jokes. That's not something Joker normally would do. And it says, the Joker brings chaos to Gotham. I'm here to restore order. We got all these Joker fish. I really like the way they portray the blood underwater. It really looks like how blood looks underwater. Cool logo here too for Hush 2. I like this part where Batman explains that if his cowl were to be removed against his will, the assailant would either receive a face full of tear gas or a jolt of 300 millipress. And then there's these electric bolts. He gets all these piranhas off of him because his mask started to come off. So all the electricity goes through all the water. Batman or Joker's getting away here. He's like shooting fish in a barrel, and then he gets stopped by this big guy. We don't really know who he is other than he's the big heavy for Hush. And we see Joker has his shoe left behind. And we see Hush standing there in the background. And we kind of know it's him because of the way they do the letterboxes as well. It's the same way they did it in the original. I really like this panel here where he's forcing Joker on his knees. It says, "On your knees." And it just like, I don't know if it like bursts Joker's eardrums, but they just carry him off. And they leave the shoe behind. And then we get Nightwing and Batgirl, and they can't communicate with Bruce. All the communications are down. They're trying to figure out what's going on. We don't get a whole lot of real like shots of real sexy women, which is kind of something Jim Lee's known for, except this one shot of Talia here. But you get a whole bunch of stuff like that in the original Hush. Maybe it's just a different era, but she pulls Batman out of the water. He's trying to figure out why. Then we see Hush here. He's torturing the Joker. And he essentially surgically kills him here. He says slitting a few arteries, so he slowly bleeds out from the inside. So Batman goes to this amusement park. He studies some of the materials in the shoe that got left behind and realizes it's the only place where those materials from the shoe would come from. But he realizes that it was basically a trap. And he thinks it's the Joker at first who's brought him here. But then he realizes, of course, later that it wasn't the Joker, but Hush. And you know, one thing I noticed about this book, we don't get a lot of real great big splash pages, or we don't get any real double splash pages at all or anything. This is kind of the only real major big action shot. Batman jumping through the glass here. A little underwhelming, honestly. We do get this good splash page here. Joker discovering, or Batman discovering Joker. Joker supposedly dead here. He says this was never about the Joker. He was only the pawn. And all these memories are being flashed on these TV screens around him, which would look really cool, you know, in like a TV show or a movie or something. It comes off well in the comic book, though, here. Batman grabs the surgical scalpel. He says the only person who would know his identity and all this stuff about him would be Hush. And then he stabs the knife right into the wall, the spinning wheel here right behind Joker. And he says Hush has returned. And we see Batman's reflection here in the scalpel, which is a pretty cool shot. But, you know, overall, I had a comment in my last video where I was kind of flipping through these pages, and it was from Mike's Total Dragon channel, 3743, and he said Hush 2 was extremely lackluster to me. And, you know, while I wouldn't go that far, I'd say it was a bit disappointing to me. But it is only the first issue of this storyline arc. It's basically just telling the story of Hush returning. We just learned that Hush is back. So there's a whole bunch more story to come, I'm sure. Like I said, I was a little disappointed we didn't get any like big giant double splash pages or anything. I mean, you look at the original Hush here. I've got the trade paperback. But, like, you get some really great pages here. Some really like drawings of like sexy women here, Catwoman and Ivy. You know, I think their relationship and everything going on with them and Bruce was a big draw of this original series. And of course also, you know, Jason Todd, that whole scene where Clayface returns as Jason Todd is really great. This whole opening is really awesome. Chapter 1 and 2 with Huntress coming out. Some really exciting stuff. You know, Superman, he shows up in here. We get, like I said, this awesome double splash page. Of course, a Batman-Superman fight. So, does this live up to the hype? I don't know. That's for you to decide. Let me know in the comments. It kind of reminded me of this Batman Long Halloween series that's going out right now as well, which is also a throwback to a previous well-known Batman story. So, I also got this Batman Hush 2 Chapter 2 Preview Ashcan Edition. This is for Batman number 159. This was free at the comic shop with the purchase. So this is just, these ash cans are really cool. They're smaller, and you can just see the artwork a lot better on here. Some of the inking lines in here look a lot better without the colors, I feel like. Something maybe gets lost in translation a little bit. In that first issue between the inks and the colors, I'm not sure. But we get some like watercolor looking panels, like those are from the original Hush as well. So lots of callbacks, obviously, to the first story. This second issue, this preview looks even better than the first issue here. Here we almost get, this is like a double splash page of the Batcave. Looks pretty awesome. Looks like Batman's trying to revive the Joker. So yeah, I'll be picking up the next one for sure. And again, let me know what you guys think. Batman Hush 2, Batman number 158, The Return of Jim Lee. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one.